So watch me glam my client for her Christmas shoot. If this is what you would like to see, keep on watching. So please do not forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. So first thing first, I'm going to be using my wipe to clean up the face in order to remove dirt and oil on the face. Then I went ahead to hydrate her skin with my Chee's beauty spray to give the skin a little bit of hydration, after which I allowed it to dry. Moving on to moisturizer, I'm going to be moisturizing her skin with my Cetaphil moisturizer. So moisturizing the skin is one of the most important parts while doing your skin prepping. So after moisturizing the face, I allowed it to absorb into the skin before moving on to primer. For a primer, I'm going to be using this Chee's Beauty Foundation Primer. This is going to give the makeup a very good base to sit on. And while applying your skin prep, while doing your skin prep, make sure any product you apply dry a little before moving on to the next product. After that, I'm going to be using this my gentle tone mattifying primer and apply it on her T, mostly on her T-zone area. So her T-zone area is likely to bring out oil, so this mattifying primer is going to help prevent too much oil from coming out. After that, I allowed it to dry before moving on to foundation. For foundation, I'm going to be using my Zikel foundation in the shade 020. Then I used my damp beauty sponge to blend the foundation into the skin. After blending in the foundation, I'm going to be locking it up with my Chee's beauty spray. This would help the foundation to stay intact. Then I allowed it to dry into the skin before moving on to cream contouring. For cream contouring, I'm going to be using my Nubanbeauty concealer in the shade 048. And if you want to contour your face, it's best to use a shade that is 2 to 3 shades darker than the skin to contour the face. After that, I'm going to be using my beauty sponge to blend. So next, I'm going to be contouring her hairline. I'm going to be using the same concealer I used, which is Nuban Beauty Concealer. So I'm taking my brush to gently blend so that I don't get to touch her hairline. So I'm doing it gradually. After that, I used my beauty sponge to blend to avoid any harsh lines. Moving on to cream contour, I'm going to be mixing these two shades from my Blossom Lip palette and apply it above her cheekbone and a little bit on the tip of her nose. After which I used my beauty sponge to blend. I love the fact that my lip palette can serve as blush. I have a blush palette, but I can't remember the last time I used it, and this works very well for me, blends well without leaving any harsh lines, and it has most of the blush colors that I need. If I want to mix, I can mix up. So after blending, I'm going to be highlighting the face with my Milani concealer in the shade 160 to highlight the face. Honestly guys, ever since I discovered this concealer, I want to buy more, but it's quite on the high side. But trust me, it's a good one. So after applying the concealer on the highlighted area, I'm going to be using my beauty sponge to blend the concealer on the highlighted area. So one thing I like about this concealer is full coverage and it's also lightweight. I love the fact that if you apply it, you can easily blend it without having any issues. This is not the type of concealer you apply and allow it to dry a little before blending. If you blend it immediately, it would work. If you leave it for a while, maybe for a few seconds before blending, it would also work. I don't even know why it's on the high side, maybe because it's an international product, but trust me guys, this concealer is one of the best I've used so far. After blending in the concealer, I'm going to be contouring the nose with the same shade I used to contour the face. So I used a flat brush to apply it first before using my beauty sponge to blend to avoid any harsh lines. So after that, I went back using my beauty sponge to blend the areas underneath her eye before setting the concealer. to set the concealer, I'm going to be using my Merak setting powder in the shade Cinnamon to set. So while setting, be light-handed. Do not pack too much setting powder. Take it one step at a time. Trust me, if you use a full coverage concealer that is lightweight to highlight the face and you want to set, you set easily. You won't even have issues. You won't have patches. Everything will just be sitting well into the skin. So after setting the concealer, I'm going to be setting the rest of her face. I'm going to be using these two shades from my Becharm powder palette to set the rest of the face. So if you want to set the rest of your face, it's always best to use a shade that is the exact skin tone to set the rest of your face. Do not use a shade lighter or darker. Make sure the shade you're using matches with your skin tone. So next, I'm going to be using a slightly darker powder for her dry contouring, which is low light contouring. So I'm applying it on the places I applied the cream contouring. After that, I'm going to be contouring her nose with the same shade I used to contour the face. So I'm using it to contour her nose. After that, I'm going to be using my powder to blend everything together. So after that, I'm going to be applying powdery blush. I'm going to be using this shade from my Tara blush palette and apply it above her cheekbone and a little bit on the tip of her nose. After that, I'm going to be setting the face with my Kiss Beauty spray. This is going to help reduce the powder effect and also help the product to sit well into the skin. After that, I allowed it to dry before baking. For baking, I'm going to be using my Beauty by AD powder, setting powder to bake her face. So for her reverse contour, I'm going to be using the cinnamon setting powder I used to set the face to do the reverse contour. After that, moving on to the brows, I'm going to be using my spoolie brush to brush her hairs, her brows. And I went ahead using my brow tamer to lay the brows nicely. So after laying the brows, I'm going to leave it and focus on the eyeshadow. So for the eyes, I'm going to be using my Viant eyeshadow base to prime the lid. These days, it's so easy to do your eyeshadow before your brows. Guys, ever since I learned this method, I have been using this process. So if you haven't tried it before, please try and let me know what you think or if it's easier for you. For me, I think it works better for me. So after applying the eyeshadow base, I blended it before moving on to eyeshadow. I'm going to be using this shade from my focallure eyeshadow palette and apply it on the outer corner of her lid, then blended it towards the inner corner of her lid. Now I'll be doing the other eyes following the same method. Honestly guys, at this point I was thinking of the eye look to create. Because it's a Christmas glam, I wanted the eye look to be subtle, that has a little bit of light color like white or milk color, but I didn't want to like do too much. So after that, I'm going to be using this color here from the same eyeshadow palette and apply it only on the outer corner. Left for me, the eyeshadow would have been just pure white, maybe very sharp lippy, red lippy that will help her face pop, but I was just considering my client. That was why I had to add these colors here to help balance the white color I'm going to be applying. So after that, I used my eyeshadow blending brush to blend everything to avoid any demarcation. Then I went ahead with this color from my Kylie eyeshadow palette. I'm going to be applying it above her upper lash line. Then I used that brush I used in applying my eyeshadow base. I went back using the brush to blend the inner corner of her lid because I'm about to put another eyeshadow. So I'm going to be blending it so that when I put the next eyeshadow, it's going to stay. And after that, I'm going to be using this light color from the same eyeshadow palette I used earlier. I'm going to be using it to apply on the inner corner of her lid. After that, I went back with my eyeshadow blending brush to blend to avoid any demarcation. So after that, I added a little white pigment on the inner corner of her lid. Trust me, I didn't even know why I applied it, but I don't know what I was creating. Then I used my beauty sponge to apply some powder on the outer corner of her lid to define the lid. After that, I'm going to be lining her upper and lower lash line with my Carrot gel liner, the black shade. So next is to draw her brows. I'm going to be using my Carrot gel liner, the brown shade. So I'm going to be using my angled brush to outline her brows before filling it in. After that, I'm going to be highlighting her brows with the same shade of concealer I used in highlighting the face. After highlighting from her brow bone, I blended it immediately so that it doesn't get dry and look tacky. After blending it, I went ahead to set with a lighter powder. After that, I'm going to be doing the other side following the same method. So next, I'm going to be prepping her natural lashes with my Zaron mascara in order to give it volume. After that, I wore her these lashes from Chee lashes. So moving on to the lip, I'm going to be using this shade here from my Blossom lip palette to outline the lip. Then I went ahead adding this other red, this pepper red in the middle because she wanted her lip to be popping. After that, I'm going to be using this Nubanbeauty lip stain. This is a darker red. I'm just going to use it to outline the lip. After that, I used that blush brush. I used it to blend the places I applied blush. Then I used my Zaron mascara on her lower lashes. So I went back using my powder brush to blend again to avoid any harsh lines on her reverse contour. After that, I used my contour brush. I used it to blend the areas I contoured. So next, I pressed her natural lashes and her false lashes together so there won't be any demarcation. So next, I'm going to be using my fluffy brush to dust off the excess powder on the highlighted area. So next, I went back using my nose contour brush to blend again, like to contour the nose properly. After after that, I'm going to be using my powder brush to blend everything together. So next is to set the face. I'm going to be using my Chee's Beauty setting spray to set the face. While setting your face, cover the eyeshadow and your lip. After that, I'll allow it to dry before moving on to highlight. I'm going to be using this Younger Beauty highlighter. I'm going to be applying it on the places I want the highlight to pop, which is above her cheekbone, the bridge of her nose, her chin, and a little on her forehead, and also on her brow bone. So I went back using my spoolie brush to brush her brows again for the last time. And then I went ahead using my Mismetic cheek glaze. This is going to help the face to glow. So I'm going to be applying it on her forehead, on the places I applied the highlighter, above her cheekbone, her chin, a little on the bridge of her nose because we don't want it to be too much. Then we're going to be setting it for the last time. After setting it, I allowed it to dry before locking it up. I'm going to be sealing it with the Sweat Look spray. This is going to also help the makeup to last. So after that, I allowed it to absorb into the skin. My client wanted a glossy red. I had to add this red glossy lip stain. This is a red color. I don't even know the name. Someone gifted me, so I had to apply it, guys. And you guys, we are done. This is the finished look, guys. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.